Hello everybody, welcome to the Analyst by Vajiram and Ravi dated 4th May 2026, where we would try to comprehensively analyze 7 articles in 2 different sections along with your daily mains answer writing program. In the analysis part, we will first have a comprehensive discussion with respect to the urban fire safety in India in light of the recent fire incident in Delhi which led to the death of 9 people. Then in the second article, we will have a discussion with respect to the tourism sector in India, along with the challenges it faces in the context of recent Jabalpur cruise tragedy. Then in the prelims pointer section, we will have a discussion with respect to 5 different articles from the special perspective of your upcoming UPSC prelims 2026. Coming to the very first topic of today's discussion, it is regarding urban fires. Every few months, almost every month, we hear tragedies where families are shattered, lives are lost, and then again silence. Now we have to ask a question, a tough question to ourselves. Are our cities becoming uninhabitable? Because these fires, these tragedies are preventable fires. Now these urban fires are rarely an accident. They are a cause of illegal construction, haphazard expansion of houses, unsatisfactory audits, and government failure. So in this context, we will see the first topic, which will be regarding the recent fires in Delhi, which led to death of 9 people, highlighting poor fire preparedness, violation of safety norms, and delayed emergency response. In this regard, we will see what is required in our urban areas for urban fire safety. Now, this topic is important for your GS Paper 3 disaster management. Fine. So what is urban fire? It refers to fires occurring in urban areas such as cities and towns which are specifically densely populated. If the area is not as densely populated, things are still manageable. But if you consider the density of, let's say, a city like Delhi, it is more than 11,000 per square kilometer, which is way beyond imagination, too dense. Having a high concentration of buildings, infrastructure, and human activities, most probably the areas where factories are there. They are also prone to this. Now, India has witnessed many tragic urban fire incidents in the recent past. There was a coaching center in Surat which was built on a top floor. So that was again an illegal construction which led to death of 22 students. Then you had gaming zone in Rajkot in 2024 where again 32 people were killed in that gaming zone. Then you had baby care hospital in Delhi in 2024 where 7 newborn childs were killed. Newborn kids were burnt and killed. Then this incident of yesterday. Or you can say even before this incident, in the last month you had the Palam incident where a residential building was having a fire incident and 9 person of a family died there. And yesterday again 9 more people have lost their lives. So very frequently these accidents are happening, which are a reason of human negligence. Now, what is the data says? The NCRB data, or you can say NCRB's report, Accidental Deaths and Suicides in India 2023, it says that as many as 7,458, almost 7,500 people have lost lives, have been killed in over 7,500 accidents in 2023. And when I checked the number for the previous year, it was almost same. Every year, 7,000 to 8,000 people lose their lives because of these fire incidents. Clear? Now, what are the causes of these urban fire? First is the structural cause, where you have congested urban areas, informal settlements in the form of slums, and illegal construction. Now, what happens in cities like Delhi? People construct an extra floor over their house just by bribing the government officials. And nobody is stopping them. If you pay a certain amount, then you can construct an extra house over your home. So then you have regulatory failures in the form of non-compliance with the fire norms, weak inspection, and corruption by the government officials. The inspection is also just for namesake. You have electrical and industrial hazards. Now, short circuit, flammable material storage. Now, sometimes I remember there was even last year there was an incident of fire incident in Delhi where the factory was violating fire safety norms and they were storing highly inflammable plastic materials within their factory. So once a small incident of fire it happened, it snowballed into a larger incident very fast. Then you emergency response gap in the form of narrow roads where fire trucks cannot access. Again, an issue of encroachment of roads by Indian people. Then your lack of equipments. If you see this picture, now this is a picture of Noida, I think of a previous week. Just 7 to 10 days ago in Noida, there was a fire incident in a society where 6 to 7 floors were getting in fire. Now look at this water cannon. Its water is not reaching up to that floors. That means we do not have such basic infrastructure that we can pour water up to those floors, high floors. So the fire safety people, they are lacking technical, you can say, devices to reach up to the high rise buildings. If you do not have enough fire safety norms to reach to the high rise, why is the government allowing such high rise buildings? Then you have infrastructure gap in the form of inadequate fire stations and outdated equipment. Clear? Now this is clearly an example of outdated equipment, this water gun. Now we have seen videos where in China drones are being used to as along with water cannons to dispose of this fire in tall buildings. Why can't India use such technologies? Yeah. Then you have a lot of legal framework are there in India to manage these urban fires. First is the constitutional basis. Fire service falls under the state list, so it is the primary responsibility of the state government. Then it is also under the 12th schedule, that is, it is the responsibility of municipality. So both the state governments and municipality are responsible for such fire safety norms within states. Then you have Disaster Management Act of 2005, where NDMA, National Disaster Management Authority, has given guidelines. Basically, they have given guidelines regarding do's and don'ts, what you have to do inside a home to prevent such fires. Then you have National Building Code of 2016. This National Building Code, it serves as a central guideline covering fire prevention, building design, safe egress. Safe egress means that whether there is safe passage for moving out of that building or not, and firefighting system for a building. So this building code provides certain norms, that it provides certain guidelines that you have to follow these norms while constructing a building, so that in case tomorrow there is some fire, at least people can escape from that building. Then you have state level fire laws. NBC, National Building Code, is recommendatory. Then your state and urban local bodies must adopt their own local bylaws to enforce the National Building Code. So basically, because it is a state subject, it is also part of 12th schedule. All the laws have to be made largely by the state government and the local authority. The central government can only provide you with the model laws or the guidelines, that you look at these guidelines and make your own. Then you have Model Building Bylaws 2016 by Ministry of Housing. Again, they are similar to National Building Code. Then recently there was scheme for expansion and modernization of fire service from 2023 to 2026 to strengthen state fire services through modern equipments, infrastructure upgrade, training, and digital systems. However, the efficacy of this upgraded system is still questionable, because we have seen in the recent incidents that the equipments are still not as tech savvy, they are still not adequate to dispose of the fires. And now what specifically is urban fire safety? Now see, urban fire is different, urban fire safety is different. If you get these type of things in your mains question paper, make sure you read the question carefully and write whatever it is asked. Now, urban fire safety means measures to prevent fire incident, to ensure quick response, and minimize loss of both life and property. Now, this is the duty of the fire safety department to ensure these things, and it includes building safety, fire service, and public awareness. Not only it is the responsibility of government and the fire department, we as the people of India, we also have to take accountability, we have to take responsibility. When we encroach roads, when we create narrow roads, when we create illegal construction, it is our fault. We will be responsible for all those things. Clear? So moving in, what will be the impact of these urban fire incidents? There will be loss of human lives, there will be deaths, there will be injuries. A lot of children are left behind when their parents are gutted in these fires. Then you have a lot of economic loss in the form of both property and business disruption. A lot of factories get fire, their entire business gets wiped out in a day. Then you have social impact in the form of displacement and trauma faced by the families when they lose their family members. And then you have governance impact in the form of erosion of public trust over the government services. Clear? Then NDMA has also provided certain guidelines for what are the do's and don'ts in case of urban fire, that what you have to do. First is installation of smoke alarms not only in commercial buildings but also in residential buildings. Then you ensure that all electrical wirings is checked periodically, and that too they are checked by a proper technician, not by a random guy. Then you have to keep fire extinguisher handy, and this fire extinguisher should be operational. They also have a life. What a lot of people do, they buy a fire extinguisher and then they keep it for the next 10 years. They do not check whether it is operational or not. Then you have practice and escape plan, the kind of mock drills which all of you must have seen in your schools. But do we do such kind of mock drills for our homes? No, we spend majority of our time at our home. Still, we do not have an escape plan, thinking that there can be a tragedy in our home also. In your regular inspection of LPG cylinders, tubes, and regulators. Again, it has to be done by a professional. And if there is any leakage or any wrongdoing, it has to be highlighted and it has to be rectified. What are the don'ts as per the NDMA guidelines? This is the don't overload the sockets. That means avoid plugging too many high powered appliances into a single socket, because it might create a kind of short circuit and you have curtains or anything else close to it. It may lead to a fire incident. Then don't leave cooking unattended. Again, leaving cooking unattended may cause fire, or you can say an incident or blast in the kitchen, which may then snowball to the entire house or the building. Then don't store flammables near heat. Any area, any window which is exposed to the sunlight, we cannot keep anything flammable close to those areas. Then avoid smoking inside the house, particularly in the bed. A lot of people have a habit of smoking on their bed. Now these kind of you can say activities may lead to a fire incident. And then don't ignore gas smells. If you smell any gas, don't turn on any electrical switches, because electrical switches do contain electric current, which might lead to fire issue. Okay, these are some of the NDMA guidelines. In your mains exam, you can create a small flow chart, and on two sides you can write do's and don'ts quickly. Fine. Then what should be done? What should be the way forward? How we can prevent these urban fire incidents? Now, first is the strengthening regulation. Now, strengthening regulation means you have to have strict enforcement of National Building Code. Then you have regular audits, and these building codes and audit have to be compulsorily. They have to be followed by further inspection, so as to ensure that no government official is doing any wrongdoing. No government official is taking extra money to allow people to do anything. There is no involvement of corruption in such incidents. So to prevent all these things, we have to make sure that strict enforcement happens. And these regular audits, they also have to make sure that there is no corruption in these type of cases. Clear? For example, a lot of municipalities like DDA, or in the case, they allow people to construct extra floor over their house. Now, this is an issue of large-scale corruption, especially in Delhi. Then you have urban planning reforms. Now, see what happens. Urban fire safety is not just about extinguishing flames. It is about the entire system, how you create the entire system, how quickly your fire safety trucks can reach the spot. Are they equipped with enough, you can say, technical know-how or devices to control the flames? Do they have proper, you can say, hydraulic lifts or stairs? And their water cannons, are they adequate enough to throw water up to high-rise buildings? All these things. You need to have wider roads. You have to regular zoning regulations. Some areas, for example, if you have visited the areas like Chandni Chowk in Delhi, they are very congested. A fire truck cannot easily reach to the center of those places. So you have to zone different areas. You have to make different arrangements for different areas. Let's say in places which are congested, you can have underground water pipes for fire safety, where large trucks cannot reach. So you have to have different zonings based upon different hazard. You have to label which area is having high hazard, which is having low hazard, and then you can address those areas as per their vulnerability. Then technological integration in the form of fire alarms, smart sensors, GIS-based mapping. Now, GIS-based mapping again will help in zoning. The smart sensors and fire alarms can give you a quick alarm about the incident happening in your neighborhood. Every neighborhood can also have these specialized systems, sensor-based system, where if a particular building in a neighborhood catches fire, so it can send an alarm to all the people in that particular area. So these type of things can be created. These kind of apps can be created with the help of government support. Then you have capacity building in the form of training of personals and modern equipments. We have already seen how lack of modern equipments lead to these issues. And why do we need better training of personals? See, there were also incidents where the personals, the fire safety personnel, were not having proper dresses, or you can say adequate uniforms to tackle the issue. Although basic uniforms they were having, but they need to be trained up to the highest class. We have to, in this regard, where so many lives are being lost and the timing becomes critical. So to get people to that particular area in a very short span of time, and we have to train them to be always ready for such kind of incidents, and along with the technological integration. Now modern equipments here can also include your drones. Drone based water sprinklers can be used. Then you have to have community awareness in the form of fire safety drills, then safety campaigns. Now these drills, as we have already discussed, are done in schools but not in residential blocks, not in your own houses. Now we can imagine by our own self how many of us have done this kind of drill or made an escape plan for our home. None of us. And similarly, the residential society should also have this kind of compulsorily drill regarding fire safety. Then you have to have accountability mechanism. Somebody has to take the responsibility or accountability of the incidents happening. There would be somebody who has allowed these kind of constructions which are haphazard, which were not compliant with the safety norms. So somebody has to take the accountability. That who does it? So we have to fix responsibility on the officials, and we have to penalize the violations. And these violations have to be penalized with strict, you can say high amount of fines, because if you penalize an entire society or an industrial complex or a building with very small amount, they will not take it seriously. People take things serious only when the fines are very large. Then it will create a deterrence among them. Clear? So these are some of the measures which can be taken in this regard. So you have to practice this daily answer in the form of that urban fire incidents in India, they reflect systemic governance failure. Discuss. Now in this answer you can also write about not about governance failures but about the failures on the part of people, and government does not have a check on them. So make sure you try this answer. Coming to the second topic, it is regarding the tourism sector in India, where the Jabalpur tragedy, the cruise tragedy in Jabalpur, it underscores that for India to scale its tourism sector globally, it must bridge the gap between ambitious promotion and the actual enforcement of safety norms and infrastructure standards. The safety norms and infrastructure standards, especially for tourism in India, are of very poor quality, which deters the foreign tourists coming to India. So if you have recently observed that trend of foreign tourists coming in India is on a decline. Now this is important for us because it forms part of GS paper 3 economy. Now how significant is tourism as a sector in India? It has an economic contribution in the form that according to Ministry of Tourism, 5.2% it is the contributed to India's GDP, with 2.72% as being the direct contribution by the tourism sector to the Indian GDP. Direct contribution being 2.7 and indirect being 5.2% to the GDP. It also brings in foreign exchange earnings. When the foreigners come to India, they spend money in dollar terms. Clear? It is a multiplier effect in the form on transport, hospitality and handicrafts. Yeah, multiplier effect then again leads to your indirect impact of tourism. People get employed in these sectors also. And then you have employment generation in the form of labor intensive sectors, tourism, you can say hospitality, tour guides, then you have shops. All these are labor intensive sectors. It supports 13.34% of total employment, including 5.82% of direct employment. Both skilled and unskilled workers get employment under tourism sector. Now you need not remember all these data. What you can remember, largely the let's say this direct impact numbers. See, we do not have to pinpoint each and every number. Whatever data is convenient to you, which you can remember, just remember that one. Clear? Then you have various cultural promotions of tourism in the form of heritage sites, traditions, diversity. Our culture is maintained through these things, and it is also spread to other countries. Then regional development happens because of tourism. It boosts remote areas, especially in the form of rural tourism nowadays or ecotourism. It improves connectivity and clean mobility reaches to remote places, to hill states, to coastal regions, and it boosts biodiversity conservation also, because the remote places are the one which are living more within the harmony of nature. It also leads to soft power and diplomacy, you can say benefits for a country like India. It enhances India's global image. For example, Switzerland has a very strong soft power when it comes to tourism. Similarly, India also has, because of its traditions, cultures, and a lot of spiritual tourism. Fine. Now, what are the different kinds of tourism in India? Now, before that, let's have a look over the various data. Now, status of tourism sector in India. India was ranked 39th in the Travel and Tourism Development Index 2024, published by World Economic Forum. Now, the rank of India has improved. It was 54th rank in, I think, 2021. It has improved from there, but still more needs to be done. More needs to be done. The kind of diversity we have, from mountains to beaches, from, you can say, temples to tech cities, from deserts to rainforest, we have high amount of diversity. So for that, we have to attract more and more foreign tourists. A lot of economies are entirely dependent upon tourism. Let's say Europe. Why can't we? Why can't we earn more foreign exchange from that? Our rupee is weakening. If more tourists will come, they'll spend in dollars. Our rupee weakening will also reduce. Okay? So 24 India's rank in international tourist arrival in 2023. So in terms of tourist arrival in India, we are on the 24th rank. That means 23 countries are having more foreign tourist arrival as compared to India. Now 18.989 million international tourist arrival during 2023 and 9.52 million foreign tourist arrival during 2023. Now, what is the difference between this international tourist arrival and foreign tourist arrival? This international tourist arrival also include NRIs, the Indian residents who are living outside, basically Indian citizens, but resident of any other country. They have also come back to India to visit India. So largely we have to see this number has to increase, because anyway Indian citizens, they will anyway try to come back to India for either for any purpose, or recreational purpose, or for tourism, or for any family engagement. But this number we have to focus more on. Now, what are the different types of tourism in India? You have cultural tourism. We have different kind of World Heritage sites, Taj Mahal being the most famous one of them. You have other sites like Humayun Tomb. Okay. You have different temples of South India, the Chola temples. Then you have religious tourism in the form of Kumbh Mela is a brilliant example of this kind of cultural tourism, or you can say religious tourism. Then you have ecotourism in the form of, we have 4 biodiversity hotspots. 4 different biodiversity hotspots. We have more than 500 wildlife sanctuaries, which can further promote ecotourism in a sustainable way. Then we have medical tourism. This is the new emerging field of tourism, where some of the medical facilities in India are of world class. Even people from the developed countries, they are coming to India to get treated in the Indian hospitals. Nowadays, hospitals are doing advertisement in foreign countries to bring in the foreign, you can say, patients, because the best in class treatments are available in India at 1/10 of the cost which they are available in the developed countries like USC. So this is one emerging field of tourism. Then you have adventure tourism. Again, India does not have proper infrastructure when it comes to adventure tourism. A lot of risk factors are involved here, but as more and more infrastructure will be created, if we promote it in the form of rafting, trekking, you can say mountain climbing, rock climbing, all these can be done in the form of adventure tourism. We have a vast amount of Himalayas which can promote these adventure tourism. Then you have rural tourism, which is again, it is gaining traction in the light of, let's say, more and more people nowadays are living in urban areas. So they try going to the rural areas. In this manner, there are various rural theme parks are also being created. Clear? So these are different types of tourism which are gaining traction in India. Now, within this, what are the initiatives taken by government? First, we'll see some of the major schemes which are being run by the government of India. For example, your Prasad scheme, pilgrimage rejuvenation and spiritual heritage augmentation drive. It basically develops pilgrimage sites and provides world-class amenities and infrastructure. Basically, it is for, let's say, largely your cultural and religious tourism. Prasad scheme. Then you have Swadesh Darshan. It creates themed tourist circuits for integrated heritage-rich experience. Swadesh Darshan. Largely, it is focusing on the NRIs which are living outside India. Then you Incredible India 2.0. Earlier, we had Incredible India 1.0. Now, Incredible India is also called Atulya Bharat in Hindi. Now, it promotes India as a unique culture and heritage destination to domestic and international tourists. Basically, all the promotion of Indian tourism is done under this brand, Incredible India. Then Dekho Apna Desh, to encourage domestic tourism through initiatives and awareness campaigns to promote domestic tourism among the local population of the country. Then you have MICE tourism in the form of meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. Yashobhumi, Bharat Mandapam, they have been created as a large conference halls within India. With this, India can bring in a lot of global events to our country. For example, the Global Big Cat Summit 2026 will be happening in India for the first time. Clear? So it is a part of MICE tourism. Then you have Nidhi, National Integrity Database for Hospitality Industry. It collects data on tourist infrastructure and aid in policy and planning. So a centralized data collection system has been created by central government to create better infrastructure for tourism. So these are some of the major schemes which are being run by the government. Apart from this, a lot of initiatives were announced in this year's budget regarding tourism sector. Let's have a quick look over these initiatives. You can mention few of them in your mains answer writing. For example, destination-led development, focus on ecosystem-based sustainable tourism. Destination-led development, that means whatever the requirements of that particular area, development has to happen in that particular way. It's a kind of bottoms-up approach. Then you have Buddhist circuits will be created in Northeast India, where they will develop pilgrimage tourism with better connectivity. Clear? Better connectivity. Then you have ecotourism expansion in the form of wildlife sanctuaries, national park expansion in these. Now, a lot of national parks in Rajasthan, MP, Uttarakhand, they are becoming very famous for wildlife safaris. So we have to increase them. You have Global Big Cat Leadership, which is India is hosting this summit for the first time. In institutional and skill reforms, basically to upgrade hospitality education and train tourist guides. They have to be better trained in the language of the people who are coming to visit India. Now, digital and heritage infrastructure will be created in the form that create digital tourism grid and develop archaeological sites into experiential destinations. Basically, the government wants to give people better experience. They just don't want the tourists to go there and just have a look at the monuments. They want them to have better experience of the holistic experience of visiting a particular place. Then you have medical and wellness tourism, establish regional medical hubs, integrating healthcare, Ayush, and tourism. So health, Ayush, our local system of medicines, and tourism all have to be integrated within one system. Then you have Purvodaya regional push. Purvodaya means towards the east. So developing tourism in eastern states with improved connectivity. And which eastern states will be focused here? Your Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh. These kind of states will be focused here in this Purvodaya regional push for tourism. So these are some of the initiatives which were being talked about in this year's budget. So you can remember some of them and quote them in the exam. Clear? Now, what are the challenges which still remain in the tourism sector? We have recently seen the Jabalpur cruise incident. The cruise is part of our tourism. A lot of people who have visited that place, they thought that let's go to Bargi Dam, let's take a cruise and enjoy the evening. But it ended up being there last evening. Now, there are infrastructure gaps in the form of poor connectivity, lack of global standard amenities. There are safety and security concerns. Safety concerns in the form that on such cruise we have seen that people do not wear life jackets. Now here both the government and people are equally responsible. If the government could have made stricter enforcement of norms that ship cannot leave the harbor until unless everybody is having safety vest. So there was lack on the part of government norms, and there was also lack on the part of people. People know that they do not have the capability to swim, they do not know swimming. Why didn't they wear the life jackets? So there is negligence on part of us also. So it becomes a concern for tourists. Then you have environmental degradation in the form of over tourism and pollution. This can be seen in the major cities in the Himalayas, let's say Shimla, Manali. A lot of pollution is being created in these cities because of the overpopulation and over tourism. Then you have skill deficit in the form of lack of trained workforce, either in the hospitality sector or in the form of tourist guides. We lack these kind of skills. You have policy and coordination issue in the form of fragmented governance. Again, majority of the rules are made by the state governments and the local authorities. Now, a centralized system or a uniform kind of norms are not there. Although exact uniformity is still not required. You have to make laws as per the local norms, but at least the broader safety mechanism has to be throughout the country. Then you have seasonality of tourism. Uneven tourist flow is there. So at certain point of time, let's say in Kashmir or Ladakh, you have tourists only in the summer months. In the winter months, the entire economy of tourism shuts down in those places. So it again creates a hurdle for creating long-term infrastructure, because when the infrastructure can only support you for the 6 months, 6 months it will be lying idle. Clear? Then crowd management becomes a challenge. For example, in the recent Kumbh Mela, Mahakumbh Mela, there were 40 crore visitors, 40 crore in the Prayagraj region. So it became a challenge, crowd management, and at the same time maintaining the top-notch clean, you can say, clean areas or clean site. Then you have exchange rate volatility, especially with respect to the foreign tourists. When the foreigners are coming to India, they face a weak rupee, which impact foreign tourists. It impacts their spending power. They have bring in 100, you can say, same amount of dollars, and with the currency weakening by 3% in 2023, and it has further weakened in 24 and 25 also. Now, currency weakening is also bad when we go outside, we have to spend extra dollars. Now, this volatility, sometimes it weakens, sometimes it strengthens. It also it can destabilize the plan of tourists. Okay? Although if it is a uniform weakening, then it will be fine for foreign tourists, but it is not uniform weakening. Again, it keeps on fluctuating a lot. So how these challenges can be tackled within the tourism sector in India? First and foremost is infrastructure development. We have to create best quality of infrastructure so that more people come to India. If you see the high-tech tech cities, the Gurugram, the cyber hub in Gurugram, similarly your tech cities in Bengaluru, which are maintained by private parties, they are very clean, very organized. The private societies are very clean. We have to create that kind of infrastructure to attract the foreign tourists to India. We have to have connectivity. Then apart from connectivity, to a smart tourism. Smart tourism will happen only when we will have better infrastructure and you can say involvement of smart devices. You have to encourage private investment through PPP models. Now, for this private investment, I think there was a scheme where Apni Dharohar scheme, something like that, Apni Dharohar scheme, where the government monuments were given on lease to the private players for their maintenance and doing under the corporate social responsibility. For example, this Red Fort was given to Dalmia Group, if I'm not wrong, for maintaining it and upkeeping it along with the sharing of revenue, whatever revenue they earn, or even if they do not earn anything out of it, it can be seen as a corporate social responsibility. So these kind of integrations can be done with the private sector. Then you have to have sustainable tourism in the form of eco-friendly practices. We have to maintain certain quotas. Nowadays, we even see during jungle safaris, a lot of cars go within the jungle. They may disrupt the behavior of animals. They may disrupt the wildlife and affect the biodiversity. Then you have to have skill development in the form of people working in the hospitality sector, the hotels, the restaurants. Then you have training of them. Then tourism education programs have to be done for local people of that particular area. Only when tourism education program they are aware how to treat tourists, their business can grow and they can further earn more money out of it. You have to have policy reforms in the form of single window clearances if any infrastructure has to be created in a particular place. But again, that has a balance has to be maintained between environmental sustainability and the creation of infrastructure. And branding and promotion, global campaigns. Now see, global campaigns India is already doing, but now what we have to do, we have to do target based global campaigns. Now at time digital campaigns are being done, and for digital campaigns we can focus on different areas. For example, we can showcase beach ads to somebody who's interested in going to those places. We can showcase mountains to somebody who's interested in those places. We can show culture and temples to those people who can visit those places. So based upon the preference of people, we can do targeted ads to bring in more tourists, not from only from foreign countries, but from domestic tourists also. So targeted ads can be done. Specific ads, irrespective of general ads, we can do more specific ads. And apart from this, community participation in the form of inclusive tourism. A lot of its examples are in the form of homestays. Now, homestays are like PGs where people rent out one of their rooms to the tourists and they take care of the tourists in that particular time. So, you can say, by doing that, they get a certain remuneration which helps them as an extra income. Clear? So, community participation is also as important in these kind of scenarios. So these are some of the way forwards which can make our infrastructure better. Especially you have to focus on the norms to make sure that anybody who is operating these kind of tourism activities or services, they follow the proper stricter guidelines and norms. Recently we have also seen videos wherein people doing paragliding in either Himalayas or you can say water-based gliding activities in Goa. Their ropes are cut. The parachutes are not properly functioning. So a lot of such activities are happening these days. A lot of deaths are happening while rafting also in Rishikesh. So we have to make sure that all the companies which are operating in these areas, they follow stricter norms. So such kind of guidelines have to be created by the state governments specific to those local areas. Clear? Now in this regard, you have to practice this question which says that discuss the role of tourism in India's economic development and what challenges does it face. Coming to the prelims pointer section, the first article is regarding Lipulekh Pass, which lies in Uttarakhand state of India. Now, there are some issues ongoing between India and Nepal regarding this particular region. Now, this is the highlighted region, this entire region. Now, dispute is happening between India and Nepal, where Nepal says, according to their latest map, new constitutional amendment, this area belong to Nepal. But India says this is our area, it is administered by our authorities. You can say guarded by ITBP, this is our area. Now why this confusion, why this is in news? Let's see some of the points, Prince pointer here. Now this Lipulekh Pass, this is the Lipulekh Pass. It is on the borders of tri-junction of India, Tibet and Nepal. It is a high mountain pass in Uttarakhand in the Pithoragarh district. It lies at the tri-junction of India, Nepal and China. Clear? And the height is approximately 5,000 meters, somewhere around 5,300 meters is the height. Now this is part of Kumaon region of Himalayas, which is part of Greater Himalayas. Clear? Greater Himalayas. Now what is the strategic importance? Why this particular area is so important? Why India and Nepal are fighting over this area? Because it is a key route for India-China trade. It is also important for defense logistics. Now because of this importance of this particular area, now none of the country, now the India or the you can say Nepal, they are not ready to bend over the issue. Now what is the dispute? This area is claimed by Nepal according to the 1816 Sagoli Treaty. Sagoli Treaty happened after the first British Anglo-Nepalese war. In 1816, it ended with Sagoli Treaty, which established the Kali River as the border. Now in the initial days, they said that this is the Kali River. So this is the border. But in some of the later on maps in the 20th century, they said that this is another stream which is coming from here. This is Kali River. Now India considers this stream as the Kali River and this is the territory. So this comes within India. And Nepal considers this stream, this, as the territory. So this area goes to Nepal. Clear? So this is the dispute. In 2020, Nepal passed a constitutional amendment and issued a new map which asserting claims over Limpiadhura, Lipulekh and Kalapani. These three areas are important. You have to remember these names. Limpiadhura, Kalapani and Lipulekh. These are the three areas, disputed areas, which Nepal is claiming. So now you understand this area. Now what is the religious significance? It is a route for Kailash Mansarovar Yatra. If you look at this map here, you have Kailash mountain here in Tibet. Either you can go from this side, Uttarakhand side, or you can go from Sikkim, from Nathula, from this side. This is a longer route, but this is a shorter route through Uttarakhand. So it is part of Kailash Mansarovar Yatra. And since 1962, Kalapani area has been manned by Indo-Tibetan Border Police, ITBP. It has been manned by ITBP. So that's why India is saying that this area is manned by our forces. We have the control over this area and this is our area. And Indian Foreign Ministry has rejected the claims of Nepal by saying that you do not have any historical claim over this area, so that you do not have any significant claim over this area, nor you have any documents to produce. So there is also a trade aspect to this area. The first Indian border post was opened for trade with China in 1992 from Lipulekh Pass. First Indian border post. After the Indo-Chinese War, it was opened in 1992 from this area. It is also part of ancient trade routes. So this is important. Clear? Lipulekh Pass. Now Lipulekh Pass is part of Uttarakhand. You have to remember this. Now it is located in Himachal Pradesh. This is wrong. It is located in Uttarakhand, UK. These are some of the exam traps where you can which you can face in the exam. It lies on India-Bhutan border. No, it lies on the tri-junction of India, China and Nepal. Clear? And it is not connected to Kailash Mansarovar. Again, this is wrong. This is connected to Kailash Mansarovar Yatra and located in the eastern sector. Now, eastern sector along the China border is the area of Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh. It lies in the central sector. The western sector is on the Ladakh and Himachal, and this entire area is the central sector. Now, no border dispute involved. This again wrong. There is a border dispute between India and Nepal. Clear? So make sure you remember these things. Coming to the second prelims pointer, it is regarding a regulatory body, Department of Atomic Energy. Now, government has come out with a new Shanti Act, in which the Atomic Energy Act has been transformed into Shanti Act. We are encouraging more private players to come into the domain of nuclear energy. We are expanding our nuclear capacity by including small modular reactor. We have a national nuclear plan where we will try to create 100 gigawatts of electricity from nuclear power plants. In all these issues, again and again, they are in news, so Department of Atomic Energy becomes important for you. Why now they are in question? Now see what is happening. Department of Atomic Energy and Power Ministry, they are at odds over civil nuclear projects supervision. Basically, Ministry of Power is saying that you, Department of Atomic Energy, you yourself also produces a lot of electricity from these nuclear power plants. Now, when private sector will come in, you being a regulator and you are also a player in the nuclear power generation, there will be a conflict of interest. How will you create neutral guidelines for private sector coming in? So what Ministry of Power is saying that for the new players coming into the nuclear sector, nuclear power generation or any small modular reactors, give us the authority to supervise these aspects. This is what Ministry of Power is saying. So they have an issue here. The question is whether to continue with the Department of Atomic Energy's overall control over the nuclear sector or tangentially allow Ministry of Power to authorize to supervise certain types of new civil nuclear projects. Clear? Right now, Department of Atomic Energy is the nodal agency as per the Shanti Act. Clear? And official side, nuclear power requires technical institutional knowledge, and DAE and its other bodies have the expertise and know-how. One argument from DAE is that in this particular sector, in nuclear energy generation, you require technological know-how. So you need to have a authority which has this capacity of knowing the technology. Similarly, as per the Shanti Act fixes that Atomic Energy Regulatory Board is expected to play a larger role in regulating nuclear power plants developed and operated by Department of Atomic Energy through Nuclear Power Corporation of India. We'll see all these in details now. See what is happening. Basically, according to the Shanti Act, the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board will play a larger role. Earlier, this board was dependent upon Department of Atomic Energy. It was within it to get its funding for its budget and administration. Until the act, this act now accorded statutory status to Atomic Energy Regulatory Board. Okay? So better management can be done. Now what we have to remember in this aspect is Department of Atomic Energy. It is an executive department of Government of India established in 1954, headquartered in Mumbai. Now it is directly under the PMO, Prime Minister's Office. Now this organization, this department is also directly headed by Prime Minister. It is not headed by President. This can be an exam trap. What are the objectives of Department of Atomic Energy? Development of nuclear energy and atomic research in India, use of atomic energy for peaceful purpose. Now India has a policy where we will not use the nuclear power for the first instance. Basically we can use it for retaliation but not in the first case. So we'll use it for peaceful purpose. What are the key functions of Department of Atomic Energy? Nuclear power generation, research in the field of nuclear science technology, production of nuclear fuel and radiation technologies in the form of medicines, agriculture and regulating technologies in this aspect also. Within Department of Atomic Energy, you have Atomic Energy Commission, AEC, which is the apex governing body of DAE. It is the apex governing body. Now, with a government resolution dated March 1st, 1958, AEC was established 4 years after Department of Atomic Energy. The AEC is responsible for formulating the policy of the Department of Atomic Energy. Basically, whatever actions are taken by Department of Atomic Energy, they are mandated by a commission, by a governing body, which is called Atomic Energy Commission. Now, the secretary to the Government of India in Department of Atomic Energy is also the ex-officio chairman of AEC. Clear? The secretary of Department of Atomic Energy is the head of the Atomic Energy Commission. What more you have to remember? What are the major organizations under Department of Atomic Energy? You have Bhabha Atomic Research Center. You have Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited. Now this Bhabha Atomic Research Center does most of the R&D. Nuclear Power Corporation of India, it is a PSU. It makes design and construction of nuclear power plants and buildings. Then you have Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, which is a regulatory board which set rules and guidelines regarding this particular sector. How this will be done? What are the legal frameworks under which they operate? Earlier, they were guided by Atomic Energy Act of 1962, but now recent updates have designated DAE as the nodal agency under the Shanti Act, which is the strategic harnessing of atomic energy for national transformation and innovation. Clear? Now they will focus on India's nuclear program, which is a 3-stage nuclear program. Now it is your responsibility to tell in the comment section which is a 3-stage based nuclear program of India. Tell me in the comment section which are 3-stage based nuclear programs. Till now you must have studied that in the science part. And then small modular reactor program, which now government is focusing more on. They will regulate this also. Now, what can be the exam traps here? Now this Department of Atomic Energy, it works under Ministry of Power. This is wrong. It is an independent department directly under PMO, Prime Minister's Office, headed by PM. It is headed by President, again no, headed by PM. Then you have established in 1990, again wrong. It is established in 1958 or even 1954 specifically. Then it deals only with electricity generation. Again, it is wrong because they have role in research also. They make guidelines for the sector. They make design implementation for the plants. They do electricity generation. They do research analysis, all of the things. Clear? Coming to the next prelims pointer, it is regarding railway infrastructure. Our railway minister has recently announced creation of, or you can say operationalization of 18th railway zone. Now, this is your South Coastal Railway Zone. Basically, the minister said that very soon this railway zone will be operational. It was announced in 2019 on the basis of State Reorganization Act of Andhra Pradesh, basically to serve their purpose, Andhra Pradesh. But right now, till now, it is not operational. It will be operational in some times. Basically, what minister said is that South Coastal Railway Zone is the newest and 18th zone of Indian Railways, headquartered in Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. The foundation of the zone lies in the Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act of 2014. When the state was bifurcated, Telangana was made out of it. At that time, it was promised a new railway zone, South Coastal Railway Zone, will be created here, which will be the 18th railway zone. Clear? And it covers the major portions of Andhra Pradesh and some parts of Telangana, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. Fine. So what do you have to remember here? This South Coast railway zone. It is a new zone of Indian Railways. This is 18th. Right now we have 19 different railway zones. So this 19th is Kolkata Metro, which has been given the status of a separate railway zone, which was added later on after this 18th zone. Now this was announced in 2019 as the 18th railway zone. After that, 19th railway zone as Kolkata Metro has been announced. It is headquartered in Visakhapatnam. The purpose is to improve railway administration and connectivity in the entire Andhra Pradesh region. Now it is formed by reorganizing parts of South Central Railway and East Coast Railway. Now these South Central Railway and East Coast Railway, certain parts have been carved out of these zones and then a new zone has been created. Clear? Its jurisdiction which is proposed, it will include the divisions of Vijayawada, Guntur, Guntakal and Visakhapatnam divisions. These divisions will form part of this railway zone. What will be the key features? Created to fulfill the commitments under Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act. Basically, whenever states bifurcate, certain states demand certain benefits from the central government, that for us to sustain our revenues and other infrastructure, we need these funds, or you can say these programs. So that promise was done by central government and now they are delivering over it. What is the current status? It is yet to begin operation. It is an ongoing process. Basically, the railway minister has said that very soon this will start. This South Coast Railway Zone was announced in February of 2019. Rupees 3 crore announced for the project in the budget of next year. 43 lakh announced in the railway pink book, and every year some amount is being announced. Recently also, I think 150 to 200 acres of land has been given to create the headquarter of this particular zone. Now Visakhapatnam has nearly 200 acres of vacant railway land to be used for this project. Clear? Now what more you have to remember here, there are 19 different railway zones in India. Now it is tough to remember each and every of them, but what UPSC can do, they can ask these railway zones and their headquarters. So at least you should make sure that you remember the headquarters and zones close to your own areas. This is the newest railway zone of Indian Railways, the South Coast Railway, which with the headquarter in Visakhapatnam. Clear? It has been carved out of this East Coast Railway having headquarter in Bhubaneswar, and your South Central Railway, which is having headquarter in Secunderabad. Secunderabad is also a city in Telangana. So out of this South Central Railway and East Coast Railway, out of these, some areas have been carved out to create South Coast Railway Zone in Visakhapatnam. Clear? For example, your Northern Railways have headquarter in New Delhi. You should remember these. East Central Railway has a headquarter in Hazipur. Some of these cities are not as big, so you may get confused. So at least make sure you are aware of the zones and their headquarter in your areas. Now let's see this South Coast Railway Zone. It is headquartered in Hyderabad. No, it is headquartered in Visakhapatnam. It is fully operational since 2019. No, in 2019 it was announced, not operational. Then it is created from Northern Railways. No, that territory lies in South India. How can it be created from Northern Railways? Now it covers entire South India. Now this is important. No, it does not cover South India. Neither it covers the entire coastal area. It covers certain section of the southern coast region. Clear? Then you have, it includes only new divisions, no reorganization. Again, this is wrong. Reorganizations have been done from two different railway zones to create this railway zone. Clear? So these were some of the exam traps which you can face in the exam. Now the next prelims pointer is regarding the northern lights, or what we call them aurora borealis in the northern hemisphere and aurora australis in the southern hemisphere. Okay. Why they are in news? Because of illegal guides and exploitation of tourists in these areas. See, what you have to remember from the exam perspective is that Norway's northern lights, which are also called aurora borealis. Now these are vibrant natural lights like this. They are green color, purple in color. They are vibrant colors displayed in the sky. What are the scientific basis? They occur when charged particles from the sun, which can be electron proton. See, this charged particle coming from the sun in the form of solar flares, solar radiations, they can be electron proton from the sun. They interact with the earth's magnetic field, and ionizing gases in the form of oxygen, nitrogen. Ionizing gases means when gases have certain charge, when they can conduct electricity, then gases are called ionizing gases. And when these charged particles from the sun, they interact with the ionizing gases and the Earth's magnetic field in the upper atmosphere, they create this vibrant lights. Clear? So this is how these lights are created. Now their location, they largely in the high altitude. We can see these northern lights like Norway. Norway is the best country to visit these northern lights. Norway is the famous for them. Then in Sweden, Finland, and Iceland also you can observe these northern lights. But the best northern lights are observed in Norway. They are located in the Arctic North Lights belt region of 65 to 72 degree north latitude. Clear? Now we'll see the phenomena, how it happens. Now how these colors are imparted to these lights. Now when charged solar particles, they collide with the atoms in the Earth's atmosphere or with the ionized gases, they transfer energy, exciting the gases. They transfer energy into these gases, which then release light as they return to their normal state. Now the charged particles from the sun are coming, they collide with the ionizing gases. Now these gas particles, they get excited, and when they get excited, they carry charge. When they lose their charge, when they come to the normal state, they come by releasing the light. So solar radiations, or you can say solar particles, they come and collide with these gases. These gases become charged, they become ionized, and they become excited. When they come to the normal state, they come by releasing some amount of light. So that is your northern light. See, these are your electrons from sun. They hit air molecules. When they hit molecules, molecules get excited, and these excited molecules, they give off light as they calm down. So this is how we see these lights. And green light is generally seen when oxygen is the most common ionized gas in the atmosphere. Red or purple light is seen when nitrogen is more dominant ionized gas in the atmosphere. So if the sun's particles, electrons, neutrons, they hit the oxygen gas, they'll create green lights, and if they hit the nitrogen, they will create red or purple light. Clear? They occur at an altitude of 80 to 300 kilometers from the Earth. And similar kind of phenomena also happens in southern hemisphere, which is called aurora australis, on the name of Australia. Aurora australis. Now best time to see these northern lights are winter months, largely from your September to March in both the hemispheres, or you can say depending upon the winters of your own hemisphere. In northern hemisphere, this is the best time. And it also has a magnetic link. It occurs near Earth's magnetic poles, where the magnetic field lines are close enough. The magnetic flux is higher. The magnetic field is more strong in those places. So that's why it is an interaction of charged particles, magnetic field of Earth, and the ionized gases. Clear? So this is the phenomena. See, this is aurora oval. That means in this particular latitude here, this aurora borealis is observed. Similarly, in the southern hemisphere, this is aurora australis belt, where the aurora australis is visited. Solar winds are coming like this. This is the Earth's magnetic field lines. They interact with them and they, with the ionized gases, and create these lights. Clear? So what can be the exam traps here? It is caused by reflection of sunlight. Now this is wrong. It is not caused by reflection of sunlight, but by the colliding of the particles coming from the sun. It occurs near equator. This is again wrong. It occurs near the Arctic belt or the Antarctic belt. It is seen only in Norway. Only is an extreme statement. It is best seen in Norway, but it can also be seen in other Scandinavian countries. It happens in lower atmosphere, troposphere. Again, this is wrong. It happens in higher atmosphere, more than 100 kilometers above, in the thermosphere. Only one color, that is green, is observed. Again, this is wrong. Green, you have red, you have purple. Many colors are seen here, but green is the more dominant one, and it occurs because of oxygen. Now red and purple color occurs because of which gas? Tell in the comment section. Now coming to the last topic of today's discussion, the presence pointer, it is regarding electrolytes and how some people are losing their lives because of the extreme heat conditions in the outside. Now we'll see what this article says. Basically, this article says that across India, where the summer temperatures are now routinely touching 44 to 47 degrees Celsius, that is extreme heat wave condition, hospitals are seeing a rise in heat-related electrolyte disturbances. That means when you lose electrolyte from your body, Merely drinking water is not enough for the body. We'll see this here. Now, sweating is the body's primary cooling mechanism. When the sweat gets evaporated from the body, it takes away, you can say, heat from the body. So, when sweat evaporates, it cools down our body. As sweat evaporates from the skin, it dissipates heat and helps regulate body temperature. Yet, sweat is not merely water. It carries sodium with its sodium, chloride, potassium, and other essential electrolytes from the body. So, sweat is not just water. It carries these salts along with it: sodium, potassium, chloride, and other essential electrolytes. These are charged minerals that regulate nerve impulses, muscle contraction, fluid balance, and heart rhythm. So these elements are used for this in our body. Now, what happens under normal conditions? These losses, when these losses along with the sweat happen, these salts, they evaporate along with the sweat. What happens in normal cases? We eat more fruits, we drink more water, we get more electrolyte. Okay. These losses are modest and they are easily replenished through regular food and drink. But now what is happening under prolonged sweating again and again, under prolonged exposure to extreme heat, particularly when coupled with physical exertion, the losses can be significant. These electrolyte losses from our body, means sodium, potassium, chloride, these losses from the body becomes extreme and our body is devoid of these electrolytes. When the body is devoid of them, it can lead to heart, you can say heat stroke and death of person. Now this a death of a young 29-30-year-old executive has happened because of this purpose. This thing is also dangerous for the delivery boys who are working in the broad daylight. Now what happens? Water alone cannot replace the electrolytes which are lost in the sweating. So just by merely drinking water, your body will not feel good. But when consumed excessively without adequate salt intake, it can dilute sodium levels in the bloodstream. So what they are saying, when you take excessive water without electrolytes, just water, so it will dilute the amount of salt, these sodium salts within the bloodstream. So there will be more water, less sodium salts, because some have been evaporated and you have not taken enough new electrolytes. So they will become diluted, less amount of sodium will be in the body, creating precisely the kind of dangerous imbalance seen in the young executive case. This case, you need electrolyte infused water. That's why ORS is always, you can say, oral rehydration salts or solution is always recommended in such cases. Clear? Now, sodium regulates. What sodium does? Why we need these kind of electrolytes? It regulates the movement of water into or out of the cell, particularly the brain. When the sodium levels drop too low, when you are just drinking water without any electrolyte, water shifts into cells, causing them to swell. Now, water enters the cell and swells the cell. These in the brain, when the skull leaves no room for expansion, this swelling can rapidly become life-threatening. You have a limited space within your skull and the cells keep on expanding because of gaining water without having enough space. So it becomes life-threatening. The earliest symptoms are often deceptively mild. The symptoms are generally your headache, fatigue, dizziness, nausea, and confusion. But what they say, what makes this condition is called hyponatremia. Hyponatremia, especially it is dangerous during Indian summers, is that it often affects the young. Outdoor workers, delivery persons, field executive, traffic personnel, traffic policemen, and construction workers, these are the more prone to them. Now, there is one more condition which is called hypernatremia. It was hyponatremia where you have loss of sodium salts. Now you have hypernatremia. What is hypernatremia? Which develops when water loss exceeds replenishment. Now this is the condition where you have a lot of sweating but you are not taking enough water. So water goes out of the cells and out of the body. Now cells are left only with the sodium salts. This typically occurs when someone exposed to intense heat sweats profoundly but fails to drink enough fluid. He does not take fluid. Even with electrolytes, without electrolytes, anyhow, they does not drink water. So as the body water content drops, sodium becomes increasingly concentrated into the blood. Now it causes cell to shrink as water is drawn out of it. When water is drawn out of it, cell gets shrinked, and again it may lead to a condition of dehydration and death because of it. So Just drinking water when you are sweating too much, just drinking water without electrolyte, it is also dangerous, and not drinking water is also dangerous. What is the best solution? To have oral rehydration salts along with the water. Now this is exactly what is always is told to us during the case of diarrhea or heat stroke or during summers. This is the ORS. Everybody must have seen this thing. Now what are oral rehydration salts? This is a mixture of glucose and electrolyte used to treat dehydration due to diarrhea. It is recommended by WHO and UNICEF for children also. It is safe. Its composition is, it includes glucose, sodium chloride, potassium chloride, trisodium citrate, and bicarbonate. These are the main constituents. You can see over this packet also what it composes of: sodium chloride, potassium chloride, sodium citrate, dextrose IP, and other excipients. Okay, so these are its constituents. You can further see sodium, potassium, chloride, other concentrates. All these things are part of it. What is the working principle? How this ORS helps body? Based on co-transport of sodium and glucose in intestine. When these our intestines, our cells get these sodium and glucose, they enhance water absorption within our cells. So it maintains the balance. If the sodium salts or other salts are lost because of sweating, they are again replenished back by eating, or you can say by drinking ORS, by mixing this in a water bottle. How it is used? It is used in case of diarrhea, cholera, or dehydration. It is specially useful for children under the age of 5 years. It is used under National Health Mission also. It is distributed through Anganwadis also. It is simple, low cost, and life-saving intervention. A lot of right now in this year we will be facing El Nino or Super El Nino, where a lot of dry conditions will be there. A lot of, in fact, the top 100 hottest cities in the world right now are in India. India is facing extreme heat. So this ORS becomes a very good, easy, you can say, accessible solution for majority of the people. What can the exam trap say? It contains antibiotics. This is wrong. It just contains salts in the form of glucose and electrolytes. It is used only for adults. No, it is used both for adults and children. Especially, it is more useful for children under 5 years of age. Works by killing bacteria. No, it is not an antibiotic. Pure salt solution. Again, this is wrong. It is not just pure salt. You have glucose also. You have other electrolytes also. Only used in hospitals. No, it can be used at home also. You can easily take it over the counter. This is over the counter medication which can be taken by from any pharmacy and can be used at home. So these could be some of the exam traps. Now with this we come to end of today's discussion. Make sure you guys write your answer, and if you have any doubt you can come to the mentoring session. Now I'll see you again in the next discussion. Thank you.